Yo, I've been focused on the idea of winning for a long time, and I haven't really fully defined what that meant for myself. And essentially, just what I've been thinking about it as in my head is the process of doing everything possible in order to achieve X goal. And that's all cool. But I think once you have the obsession over the thing, I've come to realize that you start to put it on a pedestal and you start to idolize it. And it's kind of like if you've had experience with like dating, for example. If you like put the girl that you're with on a pedestal, if you like think of her above you or you think of her as like this amazing, like 10 out of 10 thing in like a negative way, not like the positive way. Obviously, you should think your partner is like the most amazing person on the planet. But I mean, like so high above you, so much so that you look at the person and you feel like needy towards them. Like it's not like a mutual exchange of value like partners, but it's you're trying to drain them and constantly entertain them and make them feel like you're good enough and make you feel like you're good enough for them. That's kind of been my mindset with winning. And tonight it is October 3rd. It is 11 p.m. I should have been in bed an hour ago. And I've just been thinking. I had just gotten off the phone with like an old ex-girlfriend and we got to talking and I was like super connected with this person, like absolutely in love, like both of us. And the idea of winning in the sense of relationships got to me. And I was thinking, oh, I'll just get back with this person, like everything will be okay. Like, oh, this is the person for me. We were just going through a rough patch and all that type of stuff. And I've come to realize that this process of trying to always figure out like you found it out or always think that you found it out is a thing that holds you back more than anything. And I've kind of realized that I'm just here. And we're all just here at the end of the day. Like this isn't some like crazy like insinuation type thing. We're all just here at the end of the day. And the point that I really want to emphasize is just the fact that our job here on earth is to do the best that we can at doing the best that we can. That's been my motto since I was like 12 or 13 years old. That's like everybody, like every famous person, like has their own like motivational quote type thing. That's always been mine is do your best at doing your best. If I can do that, then I have succeeded. And when you get obsessed with winning, you compare yourself to your very best version of yourself. And you kind of lose the desire to grow in the process because you either think you're doing the best that you can possibly do already, or you're comparing yourself to that version and you get completely demotivated. It's like comparing yourself to like Chris Bumstead after being in the gym for a year. You're never ever going to reach that level. And if you constantly compare that, you constantly think anything but that is less than the bare minimum, then you will never make progress. I've had to learn this. And maybe I'm just blabbering nonsense. Maybe I'm just talking like random shit and nobody's going to watch this and this might not give value to anybody. But I'm in kind of the mode and the mental state of I don't want to say I don't care if I live or die. I've been through that mental state before and this is different. But I would say that I would say that I care if I live or die. That's what I kind of want to go with. Is that I do actually care now. And I think that can be dangerous, you know? I think that can be very, very good. And I'm mostly recording this and putting on the internet, mostly for me, just so I have kind of a reference to look back at. But for anyone who sees this, who maybe is going through a similar period, who this can give them that tiny bit of dopamine or motivation to actually change their life. I have my phone's across the room from me here. I'll grab it. Don't click off. Do the thing where you fast forward like 5 or 15 seconds. Like, have an attention span, please. You're 4 minutes into a video. Jesus Christ. All right. So on my phone, kind of the process that I'm doing in order to kind of remodel my life, I'm going like full dopamine detox. I'm not doing any social media. I'm not posting on Instagram really. I'm not really posting the YouTube shorts. Like I'll still make videos, I'll edit stuff, but I'll upload it in a way to where I don't have to be on my phone for it. I deleted like a bunch of apps, cleared my phone, changed my wallpaper. I changed it to a picture of myself from the side, kind of me looking ugly and stupid because I used to look way prettier than this. I used to be leaner and like sexier and all that type of stuff, which I'm not upset about. I've been like bulking or whatever for a long period of time, but I can always like look a little bit better. Puffy face, all that kind of stuff. I have WhatsApp, which I use for coaching clients. If you're curious, I do calisthenics coaching and all that type of stuff. I do handstand push-ups, muscle-ups, weighted pull-ups, like 110 pounds for multiple reps, multiple sets, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested, I work with only people in my paid program. First link in the description. And for my habit tracker, I re-downloaded the old meditation app that I used to use because it would keep a streak and it would actually give me something like motivational to go towards because I want to get the streak higher. I'd want to get my PR higher. I like seeing the number go up each milestone of like, you've meditated 100 minutes and then 500 minutes and then 1,000 minutes. Whoa, how cool. You meditated 3 hours this month, like something like that. I think that that's very motivating, so I re-downloaded it. I installed a app called Chronometer, which is like a food tracking app. I haven't signed in yet. It's a food tracking app, essentially tracking macros again, just bulking, same as I have, but just setting the intention of delaying gratification more and more and more. And that's the thing that I think is huge for this dopamine detox, is filling in my time with things that take up time that are good for me instead of things that are bad for me. Because if I were to live the same life I've been living, I'm probably going to have another like hour or 2 hours of free time to where I'm tired, not going to be able to work very well. I'm probably not going to be able to work. I'm just going to slot it in by like watching bullshit YouTube or social media or like beating my wiener or something along those lines. So yeah, I'm filling in my time with other more entertaining things that are still good for me. More books, more reading, all that kind of stuff. On my habit tracker, I have, if you don't know what a habit tracker is, essentially it's just like a list where you mark off like your good boy points for the day. I have waking up on time. I have gratitude journaling. I have cold shower in the morning, stretching, meditating, reading a chapter of my Bible, plan today. So every morning I'm going to plan like what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I've tried plan tomorrow today and I don't really like it. I like doing it in the morning more so just because I kind of get the vibe for that day and I know if I'm tired or not or how tired I am or any of those things. I kind of get to adjust based on that. I have journal, which I'm going to do later. I'm going to count this as my journaling, to be honest, because that's kind of what it is. I'm just being open and honest on camera. I'm not really caring about like the YouTube clicks or whatever. I'm literally staring at myself, like making eye contact with myself, which I think is genuinely super powerful for making progress and doing this type of journaling and just looking at yourself while talking and then maybe uploading it for other people to see and other people to critique you. So if you have advice, go ahead, put it in the comments for like my situation if you're into like self-improvement and all that type of stuff. Journaling, praying, read a book that isn't the Bible, no social media, track my macros, and then in bed for 9 hours before being awake. That one I have not accomplished because it is 11 p.m. and I wake up at 7. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8. So yeah, going to put a lot more work into just being consistent, delaying gratification. I've recently gone to like a deep dopamine period where I'm like constantly listening to music and I'm scrolling for like hours a day. Like a month ago, I would have never guessed I'd be the type of, years ago, I would never have guessed to be the type of guy to scroll for an hour a day. Now it's hours and it's before bed and it's ruining my sleep and it's in bed and like I'm falling asleep while scrolling. Think about how crazy that is. Guy like me, guy who's supposedly like disciplined and dedicated and literally leads like an army of guys, like a mini army, not like anything crazy, but leads a mini army of guys towards their goals, towards their fitness, their self improvement, and all that type of stuff. And I'm sat here scrolling for an hour. It's disappointing. So, oh, other side. I genuinely thought it was on that side. That's crazy that that's mirrored. Oh, no, it's not mirrored. That's my right hand. Anyways, change. This is actually one of the few things I got from my ex-girlfriend was the difference between change, growth, and improvement. Change is altering the process in order to achieve a different outcome or in order to achieve a similar outcome, it normally a different outcome. So changing the process of doing something is change. So modifying it into a way that gives you a different outcome. Improvement is trying to get a better version of the same outcome by modifying the process. And then what was it? Change, improvement, and growth. Growth is looking at the process and the outcome and then adding on to them. So it would be, instead of getting, the process is I snap my fingers, I get 2 oranges. The process would change for the growth example, would be snapping my fingers and then pointing. That would be 2 oranges and an apple, whatever. That's the difference between the 3. And I've had to define that for myself because of this. And I thank her for that, genuinely. If she's watching this, then kind of think you're an asshole. But things happen. We all grow, we all learn. And that's one of the things. Part of the 3 is change, grow, improve. I think that's everything. I'm going to get going to bed because I am quite tired. I'm going to journal. I'm going to read some. I'm going to mark that off in my habit tracker. You can see like my Jesus wallpaper. Another thing I want to talk about is a little bit of religion, just because I think it is very important, but I'm not good enough to explain that to anybody, quite frankly. I've made so many mistakes. I'm like a disgusting human being if you met me underneath the surface, and I'm not proud of that. This is just like full vulnerability, like real talk. I'm not doing the YouTube like clickbait, like, oh my God, I just, it is what it is. But I might actually start doing this in my journal more, just like kind of going off at the peak of my day, just talking, because I'm probably not going to make it like a series or anything, but this might be more common on this unfiltered channel, is just that. Brandon talks. I want there to be another guy like me who, not to be like a dick, but is ahead of everybody in this space when it comes to fitness, when it comes to academics, when it comes to like the work that they're putting into their business and all that type of stuff. I want there to be a guy like me who sees that and goes, oh, okay, this is just part of the path, and I need to figure out how to get to the next step. Because like watching videos, learning about self-improvement, watching the podcast, all that stuff is good for beginners. That gets you onto the path of being consistent, all that type of stuff. When you get more advanced and you're at like minor year level, to where it's more so, I had to adjust the camera because I wasn't centered, to where you get to the level of you're more independent in your thinking and in your action, then that's when you really have to make a difference. And that's when you have to figure it out. And the thing is, you can look at what other people did, but other people will never be you, and you will never be other people. Maybe I'm thinking about it too deeply. Who knows? Maybe I can just copy someone outright. But I think that we all have our own unique design and purpose that allow us to be not only unique, but allow us to modify, or I don't want to get into like a tangent that isn't really coherent with the rest of the sentence. We all have our own individual purpose is what I'm trying to say, and we all have our own individual path to get to that thing. And the thing is, there can be multiple paths up the mountain, but they have the same peak, but they all have to intersect at one point. And I think a lot of people get stuck at the intersection point and they just hop paths because they see other people talking about that spot, their friends are at that spot or whatever, instead of actually learning how to merge the paths together and go up instead of to the side. So I'm going to stop yapping. That's 13 minutes, I believe. Yep. Subscribe. Go ahead, please. Maybe we can help some guys. We can start like a free Discord where we all just chat about shit. Okay, I'm going to end recording. Appreciate it. My name has been Brandon. Keep doing the best of doing your best. Trust God. Fist bump. You better fist bump your screen. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time, but you better fist bump your screen. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Cheers, bro.